Good day, everyone. So today's video is going to be something different. This is just, again, all the top of my head because I just been craving and desiring to let go all of these words because I know strong feeling in my heart that these words that I currently been thinking about right now is something that will be extremely impactful and beneficial for someone's life. And because at some point I know that some of you are on the same exact frequency or timeline on where I'm currently at. Or at some point this message may start resonating deep inside y'all. Just a little background. I've made endless amount of videos already. Like from this point on right now, like I'm creating this video, I can, just not create any sort of videos for the next 2 weeks and still be able to post daily from Mondays to Saturdays. So majority of the videos that you're actually watching are pre-recorded and I've recorded them a long time ago. And this is somehow me exposing that recent video that you might have just watched, which is the reality check or truth about day trading and that strength, that strong sense of delusion and ambition. And I just really feel it again in my bones, in my soul that I'm so close. I'm so close on what I've been aspiring to be because I know that man was already born. He's already here. He just need to be trained. You know, there's a famous quote that I've read. I think I saw that on Atomic Habits. Like a genius is never born, but it's like practice and along those lines. But I know that rich and wealthy version of me is already born. It's just, a man in progress, and that's me. Going back to what I was talking about, I just feel like this is really urgent for me to speak this in front of y'all that never quit. The moment that is, extremely tough, extremely difficult, you have to put in your mind that that is the time where most people quit. And the time where most people quit, most of them are just a week, a month, or even a day away from actually attaining some sort of success in their lives. It's never like an overnight success. But maybe if they pushed an extra day, an extra week, an extra month worth of consistency, they would have seen and witnessed a substantial improvement in terms of the road to success. And this also resonates on the quote that I've mentioned before about atomic habits that we don't rise to the level of our goals, but we fall to the level of our systems. And I just can't stress that enough. Systems are literally necessities. If you don't have an actual system, a system that is built for those difficult days, being disciplined and consistent would be impossible. And I'm speaking this from experience, bro. I've tried multiple times. I've failed endless amount of times, particularly here in trading, like you start off typical rabbit hole. Learn strategy, trading psychology, all those stuff, then you somehow realize that in order for trading to improve, every aspect of your life has to improve. I've been on that phase as well. I tried to improve every aspect of my life, but ended up just mental masturbating. Yabin was, I was consistent for a month, seeing great success, but like monetarily, I didn't. In fact, I lost money along the way, but I learned a lot of lessons from that time because this is always a reminder that not only time is the best teacher, but failure is the best teacher. In fact, failure never even comes inside my consciousness, bro. Because failure are only for those people who quit. If you never quit, you'll never fail, bro. You'll never fail. Commit numerous mistakes that you wish you haven't done in your life, but always take note that those mistakes that you are avoiding are the reasons that are hindering you from your success. Newsflash, gotta take action, y'all. And I'm speaking this as well because I've seen so much progress lately. Every single day that passes by, I just know and feel that I am fucking closer and being closer to the man I am. I truly am, and intended to be. If you can also remember on, one of my video, I was like wearing like this blue shirt or like mentioning that I am feeling it in my soul that this month, particularly guys, I'm not sure when you're gonna see this. At some point, I might already got my payout or such, but I'm gonna give you just a date. It's currently, not sure if you could see that, but it's currently February 10th. I'm gonna see this maybe March, who knows? But I created a video before February, and I mentioned there that I am feeling something different for this specific month. Because before I went to the year, I just know there's something bound to happen this year. I felt it starting the year, there's already something different. I've lost some aspects of myself where I knew that that sacrifice is in exchange for something greater. Because to gain for something, or to gain something, you need to lose something at, equal value. There's something has to be sacrificed in order for you to gain something. That's why whenever you lose something in your life, one thing's for sure, you're gaining something as well. The question there is, are you gaining something that is pushing you closer towards your goals? Because everything compounds. It could be positive, it could be negative. If positive habits compounded, it will lead to something closer to your goals. Conversely, it works the same with bad habits, and that's for you to answer. But yeah, again, going back, as I've mentioned, I felt something in this month, and I'm for sure you've watched some of my live tradings. So far, I have three trades, four trades. Two of them were wins. One was break even. One was a loss. At this point, as long as I follow my system, I know I'm just two trades away from passing the account, and it's just mind-boggling, bro. I started trading last year was like February 20, like the first time I got actual capital on my account, on my MT5. It's no more demo trading anymore. Actually, I never knew about backtesting back then, bro. So that alone can just prove how much I've already progressed. Right now, my goal, as much as possible, obviously, never be outcome focused, be process focused, and the outcome will carry for itself. And I know that the outcome will carry for itself because I have trust in my system. I have literally proven that as long as I follow my system 100% of the time, I have less than 30% of a probability to lose in the week, bro. In the week. And currently right now, I'm doing pretty good on my evals. And what I know, sooner than later, I'll pass that account. Probably even get a payout this month. And if I did get a payout, you've already watched that video prior to this. And this is me attracting and manifesting what's bound to happen. And I just really trust it so much, bro. You need to have extreme delusion and ambition. Again, you're only delusional because you haven't made it yet. But as soon as you made that delusion into reality, it's not delusion anymore. And most people are discouraged about that because some people say, oh, you're just too delusional. That ain't happening. Think realistically, bro. Anything that the mind can perceive, it can happen. There's no thought in your mind that is impossible to happen. God didn't put that delusion, that ambition, that vision inside your brain if God knew you couldn't succeed. If God knew that you can't, you're not capable of doing it. Yes, it's going to be difficult because you have certain qualities that are incongruent to the certain identity that is worthy to inherit those certain rewards. Because you are, again, if you are in this journey, you are a man in progress. And you have to take note that you're never going to attain those desired outcomes if you're not worthy enough to inherit those outcomes. Because something that would ask in your mind, like, bro, yeah, I would love to make 10 grand per month. That for me would be a goal. But the question is, if God gave you 10 grand per month right now, or like 10 grand right now, what would you do with it? Would you be wise enough to handle it? Would you start to be, being extremely grandiose and have this heightened ego and not be able to handle that money, but instead you're just gonna flex it to other people? You would spend it on unnecessary things that would actually cost you your life. So yeah, guys, just more of a reflection. I want y'all to just be able to resonate with this. I know some of y'all watching this, if not most of y'all watching this, are in this same exact place. You're grinding really hard, but you're lacking. And what you truly need is a system and the right mindset. And what can really improve that and enhance that mindset, bro, you have to start reading books. Books are full of wisdom and full of knowledge that you wouldn't ever get from just, living your normal life, doom scrolling, bro. Me personally, I replace doom scrolling because I can literally doom scroll for 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 hours a day and just feel like, all right, I'm pretty tired, but you didn't really do something productive or worthy enough that will actually project you closer to your dreams. And this one right here, I'm literally binging this book. This is Laws of Human Nature. I just started this third week of January. I'm like almost 3 weeks in right here. I have a lot of systems. I'm literally halfway from this book. This just really reminds me of our natures, humans. We are having really fragile egos. and we tend to be having this unrealistic belief, which is not necessarily bad as long as you have awareness that that delusion and ambition is controlled. Say, bro, what do you mean control? You're not necessarily controlling it. What you need to do is back those delusion with actions. That is where awareness and control comes into play. Because if you only have delusion and ambition without action, what do you think will happen? That is an extremely futile mindset. You have to put that in your mind, bro. You have to put that in your mind. Anyways, it's gonna be all for today's video. I hope you learned a lot from this, and I just know that this is urgent enough for y'all to hear this, and I know that these words would rema and linger in your hearts and in your brains if you truly are in the path of success. And I can easily tell if you are actually putting on the work when you start resonating with the words I've mentioned. Because if you don't put the work, also what I've said means nothing. It's futile. Because some people are just living a ferocious life, acting some sort of banal. But who I am to blame you, all right? I just want really is just for us to improve. And what I only want to retain in this channel is those people who are ambitious and delusion. They are delusional enough that they know that they have this untapped potential that they are seeking, and they know that when they put on the work for X amount of months, years, their life is could be totally different. 6 months to a year worth of consistency can literally change your life. And I will end there. This is me always reminding that every time you follow your rules, you will be rewarded. And every time you disobey them, you will be punished. And that's all for today's video, guys. Peace out.